despite the Lions season being the equivalent of a downward spiral where nothing can go right and the inconsistency intensifies, and the Lions still not catching a break this season, even after it was announced that Frank Ragnow would not be returning to the Lions after he failed his physical with that grade 3 hamstring strain. Damn, that sucks. That sucks. Just when like the Lions may have had a little bit of hope, nope. Gets ripped right out of you it's swept right out from you from under the rug. But despite all that, some haters keep failing to realize there's more than one team in Detroit. As there are 2 other Detroit teams we can also talk about this week to wrap up Detroit sports this week. So let's see how the Pistons and the Red Wings look this week. I'll just say this for you real quick. If you think you're having a bad day and feeling down for the Lions, just remember one thing. At least they ain't the Red Wings right now. Because the Wings know everything about downward spirals. As the Wings once again are going on another cold streak, as every game they had this week they lost. Starting off by losing a heartbreaker in a close battle with the New Jersey Devils. Just in the end, the Devils are just that much of a better team than the Wings. It happens, you know. The Wings still got a long ways to go. And you want to know what doesn't help the Wings' inconsistency issues? Getting completely blown out by the last place Nashville Predators. Like seriously, this team is so inconsistent. They're getting blown out by the worst team in the fucking league in the Predators. That's how you know this team is inconsistent as fuck. Like, seriously, the Predators, a team that's literally tanking to win the draft lottery for Gavin McFucking-Kenna. And the Red Wings are seriously getting blown out by that trash? Good fuck God. That's embarrassing. And then Black Friday would turn out to be more embarrassing for the Wings, as the Wings had the first game in the afternoon. As it started at noon, just so they had enough time to transfer the court from hockey to basketball for the Pistons later on Black Friday. Since the Pistons had the late game up for Black Friday. Since it's a lot easier to convert arena from hockey to basketball. But yeah, in that game against Tampa Bay, the Wings got completely blown out by the Lightning. I mean, it's not really the worst case, considering that the Lightning are right now currently the best team in the Western Conference, Eastern Conference, and right up there. Not the best team in the league. The best team in the league right now is still the Avalanche. Since Colorado's only lost 1 game in regulation so far this year. And then the Wings wrapped the week up by losing in a shootout to the Bruins. At least they got a point out of that, but still. In a very hard-fought game that saw it go down to a shootout, and the Pitt Wings lost to the Bruins. So yeah, the Wings end this week on a 4-game losing streak, now sitting 5th in the Atlantic and currently a point out of the top 3 in the Atlantic and a point out of the wild card race. As now we're about a quarter of the way through the season. Actually, we're well over a quarter of the way. We're nearly at the halfway point of hockey season. But I think we're getting a good idea where the Wings are, as they're currently in the middle of the pack. But it seems like the Wings, I don't know if there's any indication with how they have been streaky early in the year. I think the Wings are trying to get their late season collapses out of the way early to be better in the year. The problem is, though, you don't want to put yourself in too big a hole come March. Or come the Olympic break, since we do got the Olympics coming up. And we know, and when we see the rosters are starting to get finalized for the Olympics, and there are going to be some Red Wings going over to Italy to play for respective teams. Well, we know Larkin and probably DeBrincat are going to be on Team USA. Larkin for sure, DeBrincat, it's a borderline. But we know Lucas Raymond and Edmondson are going to be on the Swedish team, that's for sure. Sider will be on the German team. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when we get closer to the Olympics, to see who will be representing their respective countries for hockey in the Olympics. All I say is with NHLers going to the Olympics, the Winter Olympics are actually going to be watchable for once. I will actually end up giving a shit about the Olympics. Crazy how that works when you let actual players in. Crazy.
Detroit Basketball!
But even despite the Lions and the Red Wings inconsistencies, even though some of us may feel, well, a lot of us will feel down for those two teams, at least we have the Pistons to look forward to, as Detroit basketball is back on the menu. As even though we're about to hit the quarter of the way mark through the NBA season, as we have the first official month in the books, I think it's safe to say now the Pistons have overtaken the Lions as the top team in Detroit right now. As the Pistons, of course, looking to keep their big winning streak alive, they do that for the first game of the week, when they knocked off the Indiana Pacers to extend the winning streak to 13 games in a row. Even though Indiana did put up a fight at the end to try and come back, the Pistons were able to hold off the late charge and to seal that 13th win. As the Pacers still have a little fight in them, even without Tyrese Haliburton. Let me just say this, the Pacers are a lot better than what their record is. The Pacers are only at the bottom of the conference because of Tyrese Haliburton being out for the year. At least Tyrese looks like he's doing well on his road to recovery since he was at the game. So good to see Tyrese doing well. Hopefully he comes back soon. You know, hey, when Tyrese comes back, at least Pistons and Pacers game will actually be watchable for once. Maybe that rivalry will be fun once again. But yeah, and of course, though, I'll just say this, though. That's the 13-game winning streak. That's the third time now in franchise history the Pistons have accomplished a 13-game winning streak, which is actually their longest winning streak in franchise history. The other two times they did it were in 1989, 1990, and 2003, 2004. And let me just mention this. The last two times the Pistons won 13 games in a row, championships were won in Detroit. And bad boys like these were handed out. So maybe a little motivation there to show that this season is brewing up to be something special in the 3-1-3. If the Packer fans can have their little 27 Jordan Love prophecy, then Piston fans can have a prophecy of their own previous trends in the NBA and in the Pistons franchise. But of course, the winning streak would snap at 13 as they would end up losing to Boston in a hard-fought game. Even despite the Pistons' best efforts to come back late, it just wasn't meant to be to keep the streak going for another game, as Boston would snap it off. I think Boston may have heard me say a couple weeks ago that the Pistons match up well against the Celtics, and the Boston took that personally. I don't even know what I said that made him take it personally. I didn't even do that stupid "we want Boston" bullshit some dumbasses like to do in the playoffs. Especially Knicks fans, because it's New York arrogance. But yeah, Sally, though, hey, it's not the worst thing to happen. It's early in the year. It's very hard to even win that many games in a row. It's hard to win one game, let alone 2 in a row, let alone 13 in a goddamn row. Like, winning 13 in a row is extremely hard in the NBA, in any sport in general. But, I mean, it is pretty impressive to win that many games in a row. But hey, you know, as a wise man once said, all streaks have to come to an end eventually at some point. And then the Pistons, they would end up losing on Black Friday just to make Detroit sports fans' pain intensify even more. As they would end up losing to Orlando, even despite a best late comeback and Cade dropping his nuts all over the court, it sadly was not enough to beat the Magic, as the Magic got the win over the Pistons, and that win over the Magic ends up eliminating the Pistons from playoff contention in the NBA Cup. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that NBA Cup thing still exists, because that's the in-season tournament thing. And honestly, all I say for that is, I honestly don't care the Pistons got eliminated from that. Like, I'm not even gonna put them in the fucking death note for that, because it's the in-season tournament. That thing fucking means nothing. Like, let me just say this. The only championship that matters in the NBA, it's the Larry O'Brien trophy that's handed out in June. Because the Larry O'Brien trophy leads to these being handed out. Because the Larry O'Brien trophy is where the real championships come out. And where real champions are born. Not some stupid meaningless in-season tournament for money. That's a fucking gimmick. Like, honestly, I don't even care that they got eliminated. The Pistons got eliminated from that. honestly, good riddance. Now that they're out of that thing, the Pistons can now take the focus and put it towards something that actually is meaningful, like the actual championship, and getting ready for the playoffs. As the Pistons, though, they did wrap up the week winning against the Miami Heat. Even though the Heat tried to make a late comeback, the Pistons held them off to get the win and snap the losing streak and get right back on track. Crazy thing is, the Pistons nearly swept the entire month of November. The Pistons would have won every game this month if they didn't drop the 2 games to Boston and Orlando. Out of this month, the Pistons won 13 out of 15 games. That's pretty fucking impressive to dominate a month like that. Nearly went 15-0, but Boston and Orlando had to happen. Still a very solid month out of the Pistons. As the Pistons sit 16-4, they're currently 2 games ahead of the Raptors for first in the Eastern Conference, and they're 4 games ahead of Cleveland for the lead in the Central Division. So, Pistons setting themselves up well as we're now 20 games into the season. We're officially a quarter of the way through the season. And usually about a quarter of the way through the season, I think now you start to get a good idea where everybody is this early in the year. As apparently the Pistons are starting to piss some teams off, especially the Oklahoma City Thunder, saying the Pistons haven't played anybody in the West yet. It's like, bitch, why the fuck are you so worried about us? And now it's mainly Chet Holmgren that talks some shit about the Pistons. It's like, Chet, why the fuck are you so worried about the Pistons right now? We're not even in your damn conference. Let me just say this to Thunder fan. I don't even think about you at all. Honestly, stay in your damn conference and stay in your damn lane. Focus on teams that are actually a problem in your conference, like the Lakers and the Spurs, etc. Don't worry about us. The only time you should ever worry about us is if you meet us in the finals in May. Which that could happen since the Thunder are still the top team in the NBA right now, as that's the only team that's better than the Pistons right now, are the Thunder. Since the Thunder have only lost 1 game this year so far, as the Thunder are really picking right back up where they left off to last season. But of course, even despite the wins, though, there are some flaws on this Pistons roster, but it seems like the Pistons are going to be looking to buy and go all in at the deadline, and they're probably going to use Tobias Harris as a piece to go all in. I would suggest maybe look at some certain forward out in Milwaukee, but I don't think the Bucks would ever be stupid enough to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Pistons. Then again, nobody ever thought that the Dallas Mavericks would trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and then that happened. Anything's possible, I guess. Hell, if John Cena can turn heel in 2025, anything is possible. But yeah, Detroit basketball continues to roll on into the month of December as the Pistons keep rolling on. And also, in terms of that whole Thunder thing, I'm not even worried about the Thunder. Hell, the Pistons don't even play Oklahoma City till the end of February. The Pistons' 2 meetings against the Thunder don't come till near the end of the season, the last quarter. Honestly, Thunder fans, stay in your damn lane and stay in your own conference and stop worrying about us until it's time to. Goddamn. Goddamn, man. Stay in your goddamn lane. But yeah, anyway, outside of the Thunder's weird, creepy boner for us, it was a solid month overall for Detroit basketball. And let's keep this train rolling and get one step closer to title number 4. And go get a championship in Detroit. Who knows? As it seems like at this rate, maybe the Pistons will be the one to bring a championship to Detroit, since the Lions and the Tigers both fumbled the bag on it. Unless the Lions get their shit together quickly. But yeah, the Pistons, seems like they're picking right back off where they ended last year. As the Pistons are trying to prove that last year was no fluke, and last year was just a sign of things to come. Great to see Detroit basketball back in business. Anyway, at least we got that win to end off a pretty rough week for Detroit sports from Thanksgiving. But hey, even though this week was pretty rough, at least it had a solid finish with the Pistons. That is if we ignore Ohio State beating Michigan in the big house. Which, honestly, I don't think anybody was surprised about that. Like, Michigan, like, the Wolverines are so damn flawed. That's not really surprising, to be honest. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Let's keep the momentum rolling in December. And keep climbing that mountaintop for title number 4. See you all later. I'm out.